Hi, hello guys. This is Vijay, biology lecturer from Ailabad Junior College. As you know that we have started our NEET series. On that basis, we are discussing about NEET biology as well as NEET chemistry in detail. So today, in that category, we are going to discuss about Unit 2 in NEET biology, biological classification, few topics. Let's get start. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about few important organisms belongs to this category Zooflagellata. Okay, so first let us talk about this Trypanosoma species. See, earlier we discussed about the general characteristic features and also we discussed about the salient features. And here you see the Trypanosoma is one of the Zooflagellata, and these particular organism could cause sleeping sickness disease to the human being, whereas Leishmania is the another important organism belongs to this category Zooflagellata, and that could cause Kala-Azar disease. Okay. Now talking about a few more organisms belongs to this Zooflagellata. Okay. So this particular organism you see Trypanosoma, this is considering for the host organism as antelope. So antelope is one of the host organism for this particular organism could be able to survive in the body of antelope. Yes, antelope is a type of deer. Okay. And this organism could able to survive in the host organism and for the purpose of nutrition and for the purpose of the shelter, and also they could able to develop and they are involving for the further reproduction and to pursue its generation. Okay. Okay, talking about these organisms nucleus. So nucleus is one of the most important cell organelle for this organism, and this nucleus is well developed as comparing to these prokaryotes. Earlier we discussed about, yes, and the nucleus also have nuclear envelope that is clearly visible when we are observing this organism under the microscope. Okay, so these all are some advantageous characteristic features. Similarly, you can able to see the kinetoplast for this kind of all the organism belongs to this Zooflagellata. And another most important cell apparatus or cell organelle is flagellum. So flagellum is the most important cell organelle for these kind of organism, and that could help for the organism for the motility or the movement of the organism, and also they could help for the capturing of the food particles. Okay, so these are the few additional information for the organism belongs to this Zooflagellata like Trypanosoma and Leishmania. Similarly, there are one more organism called Giardia. So Giardia is also a organism belongs to the Zooflagellata, and that could able to causes giardiosis. So it's a kind of disease, and this disease could be possible for the reproductive organs of the human being. So mostly these organisms are surviving for the human body or the human reproductive system, and that it is considering as the host organism. Okay, let us see few more other organisms belongs to this category. Yes, I mean the Zooflagellata category. So talking about this Leishmania donovani, that is the another important organism belongs to this Zooflagellata. And this particular organism, considering the this cat and dogs are as the reservoir host. Similarly, this Trypanosoma the earlier one we discussed about, the organism could able to survive in the antelope, and these are the organism could survive in the reservoir host of dogs and cat. And these organism also could causes the diseases to these particular the carnivores like dogs and cats. And there are few other example like the category of Leishmania. Leishmania tropico is also one of the organism belongs to this particular zooflagellate group. And here these organism could able to make the vector host as vector host, that is making as a vector host in P. sergenti. So this is also another important additional information when talking about this zooflagellate. And next, there are few other Leishmanian groups, and they could able to cause us some another kind of diseases like oriental sore, that is one of the disease that could be caused by this Leishmania tropica, and similarly Leishmania grusii. So these are also one of the important organism belongs to this category. These Leishmania, this grusii kind of organism, they could cause us the South American sleeping sickness disease. So talking about this trypanosoma kind of diseases and trypanosoma kind of zooflagellate, these are the organism could cause us the sleeping sickness. Actually this is called as commonly African sleeping sickness, and also it is called as African yellow fever. So these are the diseases caused by this trypanosoma kind of species, and also there are few organism belongs to this zooflagellate like Leishmania could able to cause as Kala Azar. Okay, so these are the different type of organism belongs to this zooflagellate category. Now let us have a quick review about the general features of this particular organism belongs to this category of zooflagellate. Okay, so first talking about the habitat, the organism belongs to this zooflagellate are mostly it's a kind of endoparasitic mode of organism, and they also could be called as pathogenic mode of organism. They could able to spread the diseases to the host organism where these the organism are living inside. Next talking about the locomotion for the zooflagellate are they could able to use this flagella as the cell apparatus or the cell organelle, and with the help of the cell apparatus and the cell organelle they could able to undergo for the movement. And based on this number of flagellae, also these kind of zooflagellate are further divided into many categories. Uniflagellated type, which are possesses only one single flagellae. Few other organisms that could possesses more than one flagellae, that is called as polyflagellate type. And talking about the nutrition, you see these organisms are undergoing for this pathogenic mode of nutrition, which is also undergoing for the habitat of endoparasitic mode of habitat. That is the reason these organisms are involving for heterotrophic mode of nutrition or saprozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, so though they do not possesses the these plastids or the chlorophyll like our green pigment present inside of this cell organelle, that is the reason they could not prepare its own food. They can survive as a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And talking about the reserve food, mostly these organisms are good able to store the glycogen as the reserve food. Next, talking about this reproduction for this organism, how could they are involving for the reproduction? Mostly these type of organisms are involving for this asexual mode of reproduction, that is by means of binary fission. And there are two kind of binary fission as we discussed in the earlier classes, longitudinal binary fission and transverse binary fission. So these organisms are involving for the longitudinal type of binary fission, and these particular organisms do not involve for sexual mode of reproduction. Okay, so these all are some additional information when we are talking about this zooflagellate. Okay, so now we are going to talk about Sarcodina, one of the another major group of this protozoan, and under this category we are going to discuss first some additional features. Along with that, there are few organisms belongs to this group, and its characteristic features we are going to discuss. So first, most of these organisms belongs to the Sarcodina or freshwater form, and also they are involving for endoparasitic mode of nutrition, and they could able to form a temporary finger like structure on the surface of its cell, that is called false foot or false feet. This is also called as pseudopodia, and they are involving for the nutrition by this heterotrophic mode of nutrition, or also called as holozoic mode of nutrition, and they are involving for this asexual reproduction by means of the binary fission and also multiple fission. That is also one of the asexual mode of reproduction can be seen for this Sarcodina type of organism, and in some cases they are involving for sexual mode of reproductions also, like it is forming syncamy, similarly appearing two different gametes, and the combination of these two gametes too could able to produces the zygote, and that pursue its generation. So by means of this sexual mode of reproduction. And talking about the nucleus, mostly the organisms are uninucleate or mononucleate. The best example is Amoeba histolytica, and there are few other organisms they could able to show the multinucleate type of the cellular body. Okay, next talking about this trichocyst which is absent for this kind of organism, and that the trichocyst that could help for the organism for the sedentary mode of life, but mostly these kind of organisms are undergoing for the mortality, moving from place to place with the help of this false feet or the pseudopodia which is present around the it's a temporary structure that could appear on the surface of its the cellular body. And there are a few examples we are going to discuss in this category of Sarcodina or amoeba, Entamoeba histolytica, and Actinopyrus, and Pelomyxae. So Pelomyxae, these are also few examples for this category. Talking about the formation of this pseudopodia, these organisms undergoing for different mode of the formation of pseudopodia. Say for example, some of the organisms that could form the pseudopodia by means of to create a broad and blended end at the tip of the organism, and these such a kind of pseudopodia are categorized as lopopodia. And similarly, some of the organisms that could able to form the filamentous shape of pseudopodia with the tapering ends, and these kind of organisms are called philopodia. And this philopodia could be seen with some of the organism belongs to this category, like Euclipha is one of the best example, and the lopopodia is one of the organism, well known organism that could be seen in the amoeba, structure of amoeba. So in some cases the philopodia, there are some other organism that could form a branched shape of the pseudopodia, branched shape of pseudopodia. This is called as reticulopodia is also called as, and these kind of the branched shape of the pseudopodia can be seen in the organism like Elphidium. That is one of the best example. Axopodia is the another kind of pseudopodia could be seen for the organism Actinopyrus, and here the organism could able to show radiating pseudopodia. This also called as sun animalcules, that this kind of organism looks like the sun rays. Okay, so these all are when we are talking about the types of pseudopodia. Okay. In some cases, the organism that could be called as masticoamoeba. The meaning of this masticoamoeba is nothing but the pseudopodia as well as the flagellum. They both acting as a connecting link, between the flagellates and the sarcodines. There are two different categories of this, protozoan. Flagellates type of protozoan and sarcodines, I mean the amoeboid protozoans. So this masticoamoeba is one of the best example for the connecting link between these two kind of organism. They have both the pseudopodia as well as the flagellum like apparatus that could help for the organism to form the connecting link between these two different organisms. Next, talking about amoeba proteus. Okay, so this amoeba proteus, it is also called as little proteus, and this was first discovered by Rosenhoff in the year 1755. Rosenhoff, who discovered the first amoeba proteus organism in the year 1755. It is one of the most important point to be remembered when we are talking about this protozoan category. Next, externally, these amoeba which is covered with a plasma membrane, and there are no pellicle which is present in the amoeba. And in the year 1917, Hyman, who proposed a very well and famous theory called soul gel theory, and this soul gel theory could explain in detail about the formation of pseudopodia and the movement of the pseudopodia by the amoeba proteus. And this was supported by Pantin and Mast in the year 1923 and 26. Okay, talking about sporulation. The sporulation of this amoeba proteus, you see, that could able to produce more than 200 spores when it is reaching to its adult stage. And when we are talking about this Entamoeba histolytica, it was the first organism to be discovered by Lambel, who discovered this Entamoeba histolytica, and its pathogenic nature was first reported by Lasch. So Lambel, who discovered the organism of this Entamoeba histolytica, but the nature of its pathogenic characteristic features was first discovered by Lasch in the year 1875. Okay, next, talking about Entamoeba gingivalis. So Entamoeba gingivalis is one of the organism. It is commonly called as the mouth amoeba. It is first found in the tartar of teeth of this, first found in the tartar of teeth. Okay, and E. coli is one of the common organism, comes under this category. It is found to be in the colon of the human being, around 50% of its population, and mostly these organisms are non-pathogenic type of organism. Next, Pelomyxa. Talking about Pelomyxa or Pelomyxa. Pelomyxa is the other type of protozoan, and this is also called as giant amoeba. It is a multinucleated shape of the amoeboid like structure, and that could able to produces more than 100 to 1000 monomorphic nuclei. It is also called as multinucleated sarcodina, multinucleated amoeba. Next, talking about helizones. Helizones are also called as sun animalcules. Just now we have discussed about this kind of organism, Actinopyrus, and these could able to show like the sun rays, the appearance of the sun rays, and where the flagella is acting as the major role for it is called as a radial flagellate type of structure. That is the reason these kind of organisms are looking like the sun animalcules. The sun rays, which is the rays which is emerging from the sunlight. Next, talking about this sporozoa. The very well known example for this sporozoa under this category are Plasmodium. So that could able to causes malarial fever, and these kind of organism is utilizing two different host organism for continuing its life cycle. Say for example like female Anopheles mosquito and human being. Okay, let us talk about this Plasmodium related some additional information. Okay, the term malaria that was first coined by Macaulay, that meaning of this malaria, it is a term that is called bad air. Yes, the meaning of the malaria, that is in commonly it is called as bad air. Next, Laveran, who discovered the malarial parasite in the amoeboid stage of the RBC, red blood cell of the human being, okay, in the year 1880. So Laveran, who was the first person? Laveran, who was the first person who discovered this amoeboid parasite, amoeboid stages of this malarial parasite, which is present in the RBC cells of the human being. Okay, talking about Ronald Ross. Very, very important this. Okay, Ronald Ross in the year 1897, who reported the malaria mosquito relationship. The malaria is spread by the female Anopheles mosquito, though, which is acting as the vector for carrying this Plasmodium, the kind of organism under this category of sporozoa. That was first reported by Ronald Ross. And so for giving a credit for this, Ronald Ross, there is an institute which is running in the Secunderabad of Telangana state with his name, Ronald Ross Institution of this parasitic related research which is going on. Next, Grassi. So Grassi in the year 1900, yes, who described the entire life cycle of the Plasmodium, in the stomach of the female Anopheles mosquito. So how far the sporozoites, which is sporozoite, which are interacting for, that is one of the stage of the Plasmodium that could undergoing for the life cycle of the stomach of the female Anopheles mosquito. Next, talking about Granham. Granham, yes, Granham, who explained in detail about the monograph of the malarial parasite, and he also described in detail about the entire life cycle of this the Plasmodium of the which is pursuing the life cycle in the female Anopheles mosquito and also the human being. Next, cerebral malaria. It is one of the disease which is caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Plasmodium falciparum is one of the species under the category of this Plasmodium, and it is a most serious type of malaria, and that could able to causes the damages to the human brain, and these particular organism could causes the cerebral malaria. So when it is attacking the human being, that could be multiplying in the RBC and of the human being, and or also it is further it is getting to attack the cerebral cortex of the human brain, and that could cause us this cerebral malaria. So during these kind of stages, the human being could able to get the brain fever, and also he is undergoing for this unconscious stage, and it is one of the fatal disease, the very dangerous or serious type of the disease which is caused by this Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, 20th August, that is one of the important day. Okay, so every year in the 20th August and also 29th August. So these 2 days are important. First, let us talk about 20th August. So 20th August, that is called as Malarial Day or Malaria Day. And whereas the 29th August of every year, which is called as Mosquito Day. So these are the 2 days, we are getting the information and also the awareness about the spread of malarial diseases, and also the importance of mosquito that could able to act as a vector to spread these Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium kind of species to the human being. So we should also to know about the eradication of mosquito that could help us to the spreading of the malarial diseases. Okay. Okay, in the year 1953, there is a program which is started, NMEP. NMEP. Okay, this is also called as a National Malaria Eradication Program. National Malaria Eradication Program. This was started in the year 1953, and that could help for the people who are living in the slum or the poverty line, and they could able to know the awareness about this mosquito and also the spreading of malarial infection. Next, talking about, there are one more sporozoa called Nosema bombyxis. So Nosema bombyxis is one of the sporozoa, the amoeboid like organism, and that could causes the disease called Bebrine disease. So this Bebrine disease, one of the famous disease that is commonly seen in the silkworms. So when these kind of the sporozoa, if it is affecting the silkworms, the silkworm could unable to produces the silk production. They could reduces its the silk production, and also it is inherited through the eggs. So these all will affect the sericulture, the silk rearing economic program. So these all are some additional information when we are talking about sporozoa. And in another video, in one of the class, we will discuss about how far this malarial parasite, which is involving for the two different host organism like female Anopheles mosquito and human being, and undergoing for its life cycle. We will discuss in detail with the diagram. Okay. Yes, next talking about ciliata kind of organism. Okay. So this is the fourth and final most category of this a kind of one. Okay. And this ciliata name itself denoting that this kind of organism could uses the cilia as a external apparatus which is present around the cellular structure, and that could help for the organism for the motility, capturing of food capturing of food particle, and also that could help for the organism to give a definite shape. Okay. So in this category there are a few important terms or some additional information. Let us discuss about one by one. Okay. So these organisms, they are coordinated with the cilia with the help of a beating that may be metachronous. That is one of the kind of the movement transverse rows beat, and this also involving for synchronous. It is also called a longitudinal rows of beating. There are two kind of rows of beating that could help for the organism to the motility of the organism. Okay. So either the cilia which is undergoing for the transverse rows of beat, and the cilia which undergoes for the longitudinal rows of beating. Talking about this particular organism, nuclear dimorphism, it is one of the most important. So nuclear dimorphism is one of the most important characteristic features of this ciliate kind of the organism. So nuclear dimorphism is nothing but in some cases of the ciliata, they possesses two different nucleus. Morphologically and physiologically different type of two different nucleus. So one nucleus that is called as micro, the other nucleus that is called as macro. Nucleus, that could help for the vegetative propagation, and also this micronucleus that could help for the reproduction kind of activities, and also they are involving for meiosis division. Okay, so this kind of the presence of two different kind of nucleus, that is called nuclear dimorphism, and this one of the additional and salient additional and most important characteristic features of this ciliata. Next, talking about trichocyst. Okay, so talking about this trichocyst, reported by Ellis Hill in the year 1752, and who discovered the trichocyst in the paramecium. And this is an additional characteristic features of this organism belongs to ciliata that could help for the sedentary mode of life. And it was first reported by Ellis Hill in the year 1752. Next, P. Pursaria. Okay, P. Pursaria. So this is a kind of ciliated type of the protozoan. They could able to show some symbiosis mode of nutrition with a green algae called Zooglorella. They are involving for symbiosis mode of nutrition with the help of the other organism called Zooglorella or Zooglorella. Okay, so these two organisms, one organism is called as the algae, the other organism, that is what, the protozoan. So they are undergoing for this symbiosis mode of nutrition. So they could help to each other, a mutual understanding between these two organisms undergoing for the sharing of the nutrient and the shelter. Vorticella. Okay, so the Vorticella is also called as bell animalcule. It is also called commonly bell animalcule, Vorticella. It is also called bell animalcule. This was the first protozoan to be discovered. Vorticella was the first protozoan that was discovered in the history of this discovery of protozoa, and also it is an epizoic and colonial protozoan. So these verticellas are epizoic. Epizoics are nothing but, meaning of epizoic is nothing but the organism could be able to survive on the surface of the animal organism. Okay, surface of the animals, other organism. So when it is surviving on other animals, that is called epizoic. Epiphytic is nothing but the organism could be able to survive on the other plants. But these organisms are the first organism that was discovered in the history of discovery of the protozoan, and this Vorticella is one of the organism comes under the category of epizoic. Okay, epizoic, and these are the organisms surviving on the animals of other organism, and it is also, we can call it as ectoparasite. They are living for depending for other organism for the purpose of nutrition and also for the purpose of shelter, and these organisms are also called epizoic or ectoparasitic mode of organism. Okay, so till here we concluded our total category, I mean the kingdom of protozoa. In the next class we are going to discuss about the kingdom fungi. Okay, so till now, guys, we have discussed few topics from this unit 2 biological classification, and this video we will continue with one more video. Until then, thank you guys.